Hello, everyone. My tongue just had a moment there. Let me start that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Midweek Gaming. I'm Nick on the side of the comms, of course. Justin providing audio commentary and his own brand of insanity wherever possible. So, another week, another thing that happened in the games industry, and this time it has to do with EA. Oh, fun, fun. So we all know Dragon Age, right? The game that, well, Dragon Age Veilguard specifically. You know, the game that came out and everyone was like, it might be good, might not be good. And everyone's like, nah, not good, not good. Well, numbers are in. Supposedly that game was, at least by EA standards, a financial failure, which is, I guess, not surprising to certain people. No, no, no. What's surprising is what the CEO of EA said about why it failed. Specifically, CEO Andrew Wilson had commented on a financial failure, and this is by an article by IGN, by the by, on the financial failure of Dragon Age Inquisition, saying that it failed to, quote, resonate with a broad enough audience. Continues by saying that last week EA restricted Dragon Age development BioWare to focus on Mass Effect 5 only. Now, this is back on February 5th when this happened, so it's now February 15th, so it's about a week ago, and I admit it's not the most pressing hot news on the moment, but it's still fun to talk about. I will take my shots at EA where I can get them. Anyways, continuing on. So, EA restricted Dragon Age developer BioWare to focus mainly on Mass Effect 5. So basically they said, okay, we're just doing Mass Effect 5 now, nothing else.
Yep.
And meaning some who worked on Veilguard were moved to the project at other EA studios, while other staff were laid off, unfortunately. Thus again, continuing the old EA mantra of scoop up and screw up. But anyways, it continues. The decision followed EA's announcement that Dragon Age Veilguard had underperformed on its expectations for a long-awaited action RPG. EA said Dragon Age engaged 1.5 million players during its recent financial quarter, which was down nearly 50% from the company's projections, of which were not provided, but anyways, it continues. IGN has chronicled some Dragon Age the Veilguard's development challenges, which leads to another article, including some of the layoffs. Anyways, it continues by basically saying that where's the exact quote we're looking? Ah, yes. Dragon Age had a high-quality launch and was well received by critics, but those who played, however, did not resonate with a broad enough audience in a highly competitive market. This is Wilson speaking here. And he also said, in order to break out beyond the core audience, games need to directly connect to the evolving demands of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagements alongside high-quality narratives in this beloved catalog, Wilson said in the prepared remarks, of course. And he goes on and on. So, there's a lot more that comes from this, but I just want to focus on that one line that I just read there. And this is kind of what Wilson's receiving a lot of flack for. Because basically, if you don't speak investor speak, what he's basically saying is that, well, the title of the article kind of says it best. EA CEO says Dragon Age Veilguard failed to resonate with a broad audience. Gamers increasingly want shared world experiences, which again is basically just, we want an MMO.
Yeah.
So that's what EA is saying now. No, not that Dragon Age was criticized for a lackluster storytelling, and full disclosure, I myself have actually played Dragon Age Veilguard. I played about half of it because I played it over the Christmas break when I was back in Canada, so I couldn't finish it fully, but I think I'm about halfway or so into the game. I've played also Inquisition. It's definitely not as great as Inquisition, which ironic considering Inquisition was already considered not the best game in the Dragon Age franchise. Feels like we're just on a descending slope, but anyways, I digress. But yeah, no. The fact that apparently Dragon Age failed to the CEO of EA isn't because of the lackluster storytelling or the debatable pandering narrative or the features or no, none of that. It was because it wasn't an MMO.
Yep.
Says the word of EA, which,
Yep.
I mean, I think, you know, Paul Tassi in one of his videos actually said it best. I think it was actually Paul said it on his YouTube channel, where he literally had a tagline that says CEO of EA is out of their bloody minds or something degree of that. Absolutely crazy. Speaking of him, he actually has another article down below, which will also be linked.
Yep.
Which, again, will be also linked in the down below comments if you want to read both of them together. Both of them cover the same topic, but, you know, interesting topic. It's interesting, though, that this is the method EA has gone by. I mean, there's a lot of things in the games industry that have succeeded without any shared world features. Hogwarts Legacy being one of them. Uh, at least I think it succeeded.
I think it did well. I for one also.
Baldur's Gate 3, another big name, definitely
Mm-hmm.
freaking succeeded. Had no shared world features there, so. I mean,
It didn't have any of that stuff, and it did wonders.
Mr. Wilson. This feels like I should be quoting something from Half-Life. Mr. Anderson.
Gordon.
I don't know. That just popped into me. Mr. Freeman. Mr. Freeman.
Gordon Freeman. I see.
It feels like I should be quoting that.
Gone to Baldur's Gate and thoroughly revived yourself in it.
I don't know. I mean, just on a more serious note, this just kind of shows you the kind of
The mentality
mindset
that they've had, and the mentality, like, a lot more companies are slowly starting to adopt, and kind of why they're constantly failing.
Right, which is interesting because we don't have this linked in the comments below, but I've also seen articles that also say that the kind of MMO bubble has effectively burst, and a lot of these live action projects are failing. I think Sony had to cancel a good chunk of them, if memory serves. I might be wrong there, though. And, we're seeing a lot of attempts at MMOs recently fail in the last, half year or so. So it feels like we're approaching that time where they're starting to fail, but I feel like companies like EA are so blinded by the potential dollar returns here that they're not interested in making art or products that people enjoy. They're interested in just making products that make in all the money.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in their defense, which never thought I would say that, it is, if you do live service well, a very profitable medium. It can be very profitable. I won't. They're right on saying that, but the problem is, you have to treat it with respect, and you have to give players what they want. And what they want is not more live service at the moment. We have way too many of those as is.
That's the thing. People enjoy online games, but people enjoy online games if it kind of like, it's hard to describe entirely, but like it's one of those things like, for example, Helldivers. It is literally just random bullshit. Go kill shit. Go have fun. And with the tools that players are given, they're able to have a good experience with their friends. That's the kind of online games people really enjoy. And that's why people go back to them.
Yeah, it's a fun game just as it is. It's not fun because it's live service. It's fun because it's fun. Who doesn't want to mindlessly go into the planets and play Starship Trooper?
Well, no, it's like Minecraft. Minecraft is just a big sandbox game, but people enjoy playing multiplayer. Sure, they get bored of it after about a week or so, but they keep coming back to it with their friends because they enjoy going and doing that kind of thing. Like,
Feels
it's
like
one
a
of
bit of
those things.
stretch.
It is a
It
slight
works.
stretch, but like it's people enjoy the online games if it goes and gives them a good experience with their friends, and that is what people want. They don't want online just to be online.
So, moral of the story, right? If it's fun, people will play it. It's not going to be successful because it's a live service. I mean, if I may just kind of come back to this for a second, EA. Remember Anthem? I remember Anthem. Remember what happened to Anthem? Yeah. That's what happens when we go down this logic. I thought you would have learned. Well,
No, they're not.
what am I saying? You're never going to learn, but
Yeah, EA is
I
the
can
one
hope.
company that doesn't.
I can
learn.
hope. I can hope, but
We can hope, but to see that day come would be the day EA is no longer known as EA.
no, please. I'd sooner see Steam freeze over. But anyways, on the topic of stupid things EA has said,
Yes.
we also have some other interesting news that came out of this, possibly kind of a continuation of something EA there also said. What was it, like a year or so ago?
Around a year ago, around May of last year.
Yeah. Around a year ago, EA decided that they would have the brilliant idea of saying, hey, let's put in-game ads and loading screens. Because, money! But anyways, insert Mr. Krabs here.
Money!
But, SpongeBob, money, me boy. But anyways, as far as I can tell, that did not happen. Again, I don't play many EA games beyond the Mass Effect and BioWare games, so for those who play FIFA and stuff like that, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there might be some ads in like the stadium sides, but I don't know. But as far as I know, that didn't happen. Well, on the topic of ads in games, it seems that after about a year or a bit, Steam has decided to weigh in the topic themselves and has actually stated that any game that has in-game
Forced
ads,
advertisements.
yes, forced advertisements, just won't be allowed to sell. They're just off the platform.
Well, it's not. They won't be allowed to sell. Even if the game is free, it will not be allowed to be on the platform at all.
You get what I mean.
Yes. But that it is a clarification for the viewers.
And they call me petty. But anyways.
Hey, it's not petty. It is a fine detail.
Fine detail. But the point still stands. If it has forced advertisements in game, it just won't be allowed to be on Steam, just period. Which is interesting. It's interesting to see that Steam is taking that route. To my knowledge, no response from Epic on the topic,
No.
which they have their own store. But it's interesting. And this is very fresh news, actually. This, as far as I know, the articles came from literally just yesterday or something like that. So it's fairly recent news. So it's interesting to see that, like I said, Steam is taking this kind of hardline stance to in-game advertisements. As far as I know, EA is the only one who floated the idea. But it's certainly something that I could see catch on in the industry if
or someone went and talked about it at the time, about around a year ago, and that's where like they drummed it up at the time. But let's be honest here, the main reason why Steam would do such an action is because of the MMO base, and that's something Nick went and said, and it makes sense.
That is true. I mean, I believe in their... let me look at Eurogamer here, who covered it. I believe they said it specifically in response to... in the mobile game space. But let me just clarify that real second. It's been a hot minute since I saw the article. Their comments: developers should not utilize paid advertisements business model in games, such as required players to watch or engage or otherwise engage with advertisements in order to play, or gating gameplay behind advertising, the rules explain. This is again a change to the rules specifically, so it's not Valve coming out and saying we are doing this, it's just a change in the fine print of the rules. If your game business model relies on advertising on other platforms, you will need to remove these elements before shipping on Steam. Some options you could consider include switching to a single purchase paid app, so kind of what the kind of exists on the App Store these days. Or making your game free to play with optional upgrades sold via microtransactions or downloadable content. So that's what the rules say. So it's interesting to see this kind of change. Again, no real reason given as far as I can tell as to why. It might have to do with the advertising space. It might have to do with possibly EA's statement a year ago. Hard to say, but it's definitely something that is interesting to see happen in the industry because, as we've seen with a lot of things in the industry when it comes to scummy monetization, if one scum gag gets away with it, it'll start catching on and they'll all start doing it.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to see this hardline stance kind of be taken through Steam, which is, again, one of the biggest platforms in the mobile gaming, in the PC gaming space when it comes to like sales. Though Epic will hate to admit it, they're still not as big as Steam. So, you know, it's like I said, seeing this hardline stance will definitely kind of ensure that never comes to pass, because I doubt any company is going to want to basically take their games off Steam permanently to basically get around this rule. Then again, we have seen some companies like Ubisoft have their own launchers, and Bethesda had their own launcher until I think they scrapped it and moved over to Xbox entirely, which...
I think
I'm
so,
not
yeah.
sure if
I think
Xbox has some games on Steam as well. I know PlayStation does.
No. Oh, Xbox has PlayStations, or, PlayStations. Xbox
You mean Xbox has games on Steam?
Yes, it does.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
there we go. So Xbox has games on Steam, and I know PlayStation does as well, because they have God of War and stuff on there. So
Xbox has been definitely like pushing to go and get their games onto Steam. And
again, it makes sense.
They want more players, general.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? Because, and again, especially with Xbox, right? You're seeing this push that I saw a little bit ago, where you ever seen those commercials, and you might start seeing them if you look at a lot of Xbox's branding these days, but they'll be like, this is an Xbox, and this is an Xbox, and this is an Xbox. And it kind of goes with what the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, said. where they're kind of moving. I don't want to say moving away from consoles, but they're kind of moving away from the concept of an Xbox being strictly the console. You know, we can do the PC, we can do, something on the mobile device. Their XCloud, I think, is still a thing. So, they're trying to move Xbox to more of a universal brand than just the console. So it kind of makes sense that they're kind of putting their products everywhere for the sake of diversity. So it makes sense from a branding standpoint. As far as PlayStation goes, well, I mean, PlayStation, despite not having similar marketing angles, most certainly would benefit from the idea of keeping their things on Steam because, again, it's the biggest platform, as we've said. So having that off of Steam kind of forces them to have to do their own thing, which they don't even have. I mean, we talked earlier in this video about Helldivers. Helldivers is also from PlayStation, and it's on Steam, so that would kind of shoot them in the foot if that kind of went away.
Well, it would also shoot them in the foot, but like overall, PlayStation as a whole doesn't go for like the larger player count. They just kind of go for the players in a very specific areas. Helldivers, I think the only reason why they're on Steam is probably because of the fact that I think they were on Steam beforehand with Helldivers 1 as well. So that's probably why.
I mean, I would say it is just in general, right? Because Helldivers is definitely something you could put on PC, and I mean, where else would you put it on PC? I mean, sure, you could do Epic, but the mess with Epic and all that, it's just... I'm not sure what's going on with Epic these days, but as far as I can tell, it's not good.
Yeah.
At least as far as the Steam page is concerned. Nothing topic about their Unreal Engine. That's still pretty good. But anyways, so yeah, that's kind of the topics for this week. EA stupidity mixed with a decision that came possibly as a result of EA stupidity. So good to see they've at least accomplished something good in the industry by trying to do something horrible in the industry.
Yes. EA being EA.
So, usual Tuesday.
Yes.
But, yeah, that's all for this week's video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you all liked it. Leave a comment down below. What do you think? What do you think of the whole CEO's comment about Dragon Age's failure not being a live service or, as he would say, shared world features? Marketing talk, I swear. But... Or, maybe what do you think about this new rule change from Steam? Again, there's no real fanfare around it. It's just something that's now in the rules, so it definitely cuts off the head of a snake before it has a chance to become a problem, I'd say.
Yes.
So yeah, let me know down in the comments. I'm interested to hear. What's your take on all this? And of course, be back for next week when we'll have something. I haven't figured that far ahead.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're getting there. All right. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.